to item 433, number 1H, page 164, item 433, number 1H is before the body.
The delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Wilt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaking to the amendment.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I'm under no illusions that we're not going to pass this measure. But I did just want to take a brief amount of time to ask you to look around any objects that you see in the room, and I'll tell you that it got here by a truck. Okay? So that's what I want, the perspective I'd like for us to consider this. The concern that I have is that the study is based just on trucks. And now 81 does go right through my district, or the 26th House district. And safety, traffic is a vital concern to us. We're having, might even hear about an accident here in a little bit from other testimony. But Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned as anyone about that. But I don't want us to unduly paint trucks in a bad light. In 2017, trucks were involved in 17.6% of the total crashes. Of 2,576 crashes, trucks were only involved in 17.6% of those. The truck driver was cited in 52% of the crashes involving a truck crash. And also, out of those crashes that occurred, the truck driver was cited in 9.1% of all those crashes. Ladies and gentlemen of the House and Mr. Speaker, my point is that we often want to blame trucks. Trucks bring us virtually everything that we have, and I think this study unduly paints them in a bad light. And so that's simply what I want to do, is bring it to the body's attention. I don't want to be here in a couple of years when after the study, and by the way, the statistics that I give you and a whole lot more are available through a study. Statistics that VDOT and state police are collecting all the time. But my worry is at some point down the road here that we're going to come back with recommendations that we're going to be tolling trucks and we're going to be unduly attacking them. And that's my concern. So thank you for your time.
Delegate from Augusta, Delegate Landis.
Mr. Speaker, speaking to the amendment.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker and members of the House, this simply asks the Commonwealth Transportation Board to look at possible financing options, and it does concentrate on trucks. The gentleman alluded, I told him in caucus as we were sitting there, my office back home for my business, the business I work for, they have to notify our caregivers every time there's a truck accident on 81, and noted that at 1224, there was a trailer truck accident at mile marker 223 on 81 north. The issue before us is just to allow, if you will, the Commonwealth Transportation Board and the department to look at the issue related to trucks and the possibility of utilizing a tolling mechanism to provide what is needed. And if you look at most of the projects that have already been identified along 81 for improvement, truck climbing lanes. They're truck climbing lanes. The reason we build them is so that trucks can use those two lanes and that cars and other vehicles can get over so that they can pass the trucks. So all we're trying to do is look at that possibility. I would also say, and I don't want to disagree too much with the gentleman from the delegate from Rockingham, but we have to look for some solutions to make improvements to Interstate 81. Unfortunately, our federal friends are not providing the resources that we need. And if we're going to try to solve this problem, we have to start looking for solutions. And that is all this is attempting to do, is to look at that one possible solution. I will say it doesn't preclude the General Assembly from coming back and saying we don't like that option. As you all know, there's no, or there has to be affirmative approval by the General Assembly for any tolling on Interstate 81. So we're not changing that authority whatsoever. But this is one option that I think is being proposed and considered in the state Senate, and we believe at least is something that needs to be looked at for improvements along Interstate 81. And Mr. Speaker, I just ask the House to approve this amendment, and this is not in any way to say that trucks are not important or that the goods and services that they bring to the consumers and our citizens is not important as well. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd ask you to pass the amendment.
Delegate from Fauquier, Delegate Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaking to the amendment.
Delegate Essa-Ford.
I would ask the body to support the amendment because, as the delegate from Augusta had pointed out, not only do we have truck driving lanes, but with new legislation that has come through on the federal level with electronic driving logs and the new trucking rules, truckers are going to need other places to park, to stay, to sleep in order to travel safely. And if you read the language of the bill, the language of the amendment does exactly that. So not only is it in regards to studying the entire corridor, but it will also benefit the trucking industry. Thank you.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Clerk will